continuing our topic NBFCs, that is non-banking financial companies. Now, what have we done up to now? हमने asset classification के norms देखे और हमने provisioning के भी norms देखे थे last time. So before that we had already done income recognition. So three basic norms we have mainly covered in the first 5 sums that we have done. Okay, so वहाँ पर last sum जो हमने किया था, there question number 5 में they had already given us the classified assets. So they had told us standard कितना है, substandard कितना है, doubtful कितना है, etc. And we were supposed to only calculate the provision by using the correct rates. But now the sum that we will be doing today, here what we are going to do is हम assets classify भी करेंगे. That is we will decide कि इसमें से standard कितने हैं, substandard कितने हैं, etc. And after that we will be creating the provision. So before we go ahead with question number 6, one more time we will just quickly revise our provisioning norms so that we are clear as to कौन से asset पे कितना provision create करना है. So our provisioning says that standard assets, if it is NBFC D or NBFC NDSI, that is as I told you, the important NBFCs, there the rate is higher, 0.40%. Why is the rate higher? क्योंकि ये ज़्यादा important NBFCs है और अगर यहाँ पर ज़्यादा loss हो गया in the future, then there might be a loss to the public. So to avoid that, what we are doing is we are creating a greater provision. But if it's a non-important, non-systematically important NBFC ND, then it is only 0.25%. Substandard में whether it is NBFC D, ND or NDSI, in all the three categories the rate is same, 10%. Doubtful में भी rate same रहता है irrespective of कौन सी NBFC की हम बात कर रहे हैं. But for the unsecured portion, जहाँ पर हमारे पास कोई security नहीं है, there 100% provision. And for the secured portion, जहाँ पर कुछ security है या कोई guarantee है, in that case, अगर it has been in the doubtful category for 1 year, then 20% provision. If it has been in the doubtful category for 1 to 3 years, then 30% provision. And if it has been doubtful for more than 3 years, then 50% provision. और loss assets अगर हैं, loss assets obviously are those assets जहाँ पर auditor ने कह दिया है कि इनको loss assets में ही categorize करना है. In that case, you have to write off the asset or at least you have to create 100% provision on that asset. So, how to classify into standard, substandard, doubtful? एक बार ये भी revise कर लेते हैं. So, standard assets are those assets जहाँ पर हमें जो भी regular payments मिलने चाहिए, वो time to time हमें मिल रहे हैं without any default. NPA are those assets जहाँ पर now there is some default in the payment. But जब standard NPA बनता है, then for the first 2 months, it still remains standard only. Because what have they said? That अगर interest या repayment 3 महीने से ज़्यादा overdue हो गया है, then you will categorize it as NPA. Okay? So for first 2 months, it will still be in the standard category. Now, अगर 2 months cross हो गए and in this case it is 6 months instead of 3 months, तो यहाँ पर 5 months तक it will still remain in the standard category. Okay? After that, it becomes NPA. Now, once it becomes NPA, that is when will it become NPA? जहाँ पर interest या repayment has remained overdue for 3 months or more या 6 months or more. Then it can be classified as substandard, doubtful or loss. अगर substandard है, तो how will you categorize it as substandard? You will see for how many months it has been NPA. If it has been NPA up to 12 months. So, I'll just give you an example. Suppose एक asset है, जहाँ पर हमें interest या repayment मिलना बंद हो गया है. In that case, first 2 months, it will still be standard category. Then, in the third month, that is 3 months or more word use किया है, तो third month से it will become NPA. अब जब वो NPA बन गया in the third month, from that third month, up to 12 months. So I'm talking about third month now becomes my first month. So 12 महीने तक it will remain NPA and which category of NPA? Substandard. But अगर 12 महीने से ज्यादा हो गया है and still it is not paying us the amount, that is still it is NPA only, then it comes under doubtful. So जब वो substandard 12 महीने से ज्यादा रहता है, that is for more than 12 months it has been substandard, okay, then it will become doubtful. And finally loss, so auditor will tell us whether it is a loss asset or not. So I hope this is clear now. And for NBFC ND, instead of 12 months over here and here, it is 18 months. So I have to first see that default कितने महीने तक है. If up to 2 months, it's completely fine. उसको standard ही रहने दो. Once it crosses 2 months, third month हो गया फिर भी default हो रहा है, then you categorize it as substandard. 12 महीने तक अगर वो NPA रहता है, then call it substandard. Once it remains substandard for 12 months, then call it doubtful. Okay, and loss you cannot decide. The auditor or the RBI will decide if it is a loss asset. Okay. Okay. So now let's do question number 6, जहां पर हम asset भी classify करेंगे and हम provision भी create करेंगे. So SureShot Limited in NBFC D provides the following information in respect of its advances as on 31st March 2020 and requests you to classify them as per asset classification norms and also calculate the amount of provision to be created on them. और यहाँ पर हमें दिया है कि कितने महीने के लिए overdue रहा है amount. So not overdue, overdue for 2 months, 5 months, 15 months, 20, 36 months, and finally those which are categorized as loss assets by the auditor. Amounts हमें दिए हुए हैं in lakhs, okay, and they have said assume all the above advances are unsecured. तो ये हमें क्यों दिया है? For our doubtful assets. क्योंकि doubtful जो assets बन जाएंगे, I need to know if they are secured or unsecured. So यहाँ पर mention किया हुआ है that all the advances are unsecured, means जो भी doubtful में भी हम categorize करेंगे, those will also be unsecured only. Okay. So now let's go to the solution and let's see how to solve this sum where we are doing two things at the same time. Asset classification also and provisioning also. So this is the kind of format that we will need. यहाँ पर we are doing question 6 as I have told you. We are calculating provision basically, but I am also going to classify the asset. So type of asset, यहाँ पर standard, substandard etc. लिखेंगे हम. I have made 2 rupees column. तो जहाँ पर एक से ज्यादा है, वहाँ पर we'll write in the inner column, take the total outside. Rate of provision हम लिखेंगे and then we'll calculate the provision. And I have also made a working note like this, which will help me to classify my asset correctly. So कितने महीने के लिए overdue है, when it will be, initially it will be standard, उसके बाद substandard कब बनेगा and then finally doubtful कब बनेगा. So this we will be able to calculate using this working note. Okay. So let's begin our sum and they have given us certain amounts and they've said कि overdue कितने महीने के लिए है. So our first category is going to be standard assets. तो जो सबसे पहले हमें दिया हुआ है not overdue at all, बिल्कुल overdue नहीं है एक भी amount वहाँ पर, so that is definitely going to be standard assets. So I'll write not overdue and not overdue में amount है 1500. This is all amounts are in lakhs. So 1500 lakhs है ये, I can mention over here in lakhs so that we are not confused. Okay. Then there is another category where they have said that it is overdue for 2 months. So let's see what will be that will obviously be standard. 2 महीने अभी तक नहीं खत्म हुए हैं. So only when it crosses the 3 months mark, that time it will become NPA and substandard बन जाएगा. तब तक it will still remain in this standard category. Now the next category that we have says that it is overdue for 5 months. So let us first check that ये कौन सी asset classification में categorize होगा. So here I will write overdue for में I will write 5 months. Now we know that for the first 2 months it will remain as standard, and once it goes beyond 2 months, that is यहाँ पे 5 है, so 2 standard होगा, and after that for the next 3 months it has remained substandard. Okay, so that means it is in the substandard category. So I will write over here. So यहाँ पे standard का हम total ले लेते हैं. Okay, 22 lakhs. And now we go to our substandard category. And there we have overdue for 5 months. I'll check the amount in the sum. The amount for 5 months is 600 lakhs. Here it's a comma, not a dot. Okay, so overdue for 5 months, right? अब हमारी जो next category दी है, that they have said it is overdue for 15 months. So let us write over here again. पहले हम analyze करेंगे, then we'll put it in the respective classification. So again 2 months it will remain standard. यहाँ पर 15 है. 2 months standard हो गया. Now it becomes NPA, right? NPA जब बन गया, तो for the first 12 months it remains substandard. Okay, but if it has remained substandard for more than 12 months, then it becomes doubtful. So यहाँ पर my total is 14 and over here I have 1. So it has reached the doubtful category because it has crossed the 14 months mark. 2 months it is allowed to be standard. After that 12 months it can be substandard and then it becomes doubtful. So ये जो 15 months वाला है, that will directly go to my doubtful category. So यहाँ पर इसका हम total बाहर ले लेते हैं. This is only 600, that is 600 lakhs. And then we write our third category, which is doubtful. Okay, and in doubtful category, we will say first one, overdue for 15 months. Let's check the amount in the sum. The amount for 15 months is 400. Right? Now, logically, इसके बाद जितने भी assets हैं, because in the sum they have given us in the ascending order. जैसे months बढ़ रहे हैं, वैसे उन्होंने sum में दिया हुआ है. So, whenever, now if any asset is more than 15 months, then obviously it is going to be in the doubtful category only. So, I don't need to really do the working note again for all those. बाकी की जो दो है, that is 20 months and 36 months. अगर 15 months वाला asset is doubtful, तो उससे ज्यादा वाले भी definitely doubtful में ही जाएंगे. Okay? So, let's write both of those over here, 20 months and 36 months. So, we'll go for overdue for 20 months, which as I explained is definitely going to be doubtful only. The amount given is 350 lakhs, so 3,50, and overdue for 36 months. Okay, and the amount is 100 lakhs. So let's take a total of these three, 750 and 850. Okay, and then our fourth category is loss assets, जहाँ पर it is already given to us. So here, categorized by auditor. and I'll directly write it in the outer column because there is no breakup over there. So my loss assets are 40 lakhs. Okay. So we have already classified our assets. Now let us do the provisioning. और पहले तो हम कौन से NBFC की बात कर रहे हैं? It is NBFC D. So we have to remember कि standard assets के लिए उसका provision rate थोड़ा सा अलग है. बाकी के assets में it is the same. So standard assets में for NBFC D, my rate of provision is 0.40%. Right? So पहले हम rates लिख देते हैं. For substandard assets, whether it is NBFC, D, ND, anything, the rate is the same, which is 10%. अब doubtful में generally I should know whether it is secured or unsecured. और अगर secured है, तो for how many years it has remained doubtful. But here all that is not given, and the sum clearly tells us that all the advances are unsecured. So unsecured के लिए doubtful भी directly 100% and loss obviously will be 100%. So now let's do this calculation. 2200 into 0.4% gives me 8.80. Okay, this is again in lakhs only. 600 into 10% will be 60. And the remaining two are anyway 100%. So 850 and 40. So now all we need to do is, we just need to take a total of our provision that we have created, right? So I'll just do the totaling. 8.8 plus 60 plus 850 plus 40. We get 958.8. And that is the total provision on our assets. So I hope you've understood. ये हमने एक combination sum किया, जहाँ पर हमने assets को भी classify किया, plus we also took the provision rates by ourselves and calculated the provision. If they want to complicate the sum further, यहाँ पर doubtful में they could have told you that which part is secured, which part is unsecured. So secured part के लिए again I will have to do my working note to find out कि कितने years के लिए वो asset doubtful रहा है. Okay, so this sum is done. Now we'll go ahead. Now last time we had also discussed about an additional provision where your assets are lease or hire purchase assets. Lease means हमने उसे long term rent पे दिया है. Hire purchase means हमने asset बेचा है and we are recovering the amounts in installments, right? So वहाँ पर you have to create an additional provision over and above what we have already seen. This is additional provision, right? So what does it depend on? First, it depends on the period for which the installment or rental is overdue. So again the same thing. कितने महीने के लिए installment या जो rent हमें मिलने वाला था lease पे, वो कितने महीने के लिए overdue रहा है. So that is one condition. And second is your net book value, because the provision is based on net book value. अब ये net book value क्या है, we'll be seeing a little later. First, what we are to do is ये months के basis पर कितना rate का provision हमें लगाना है, that is calculate करना है. So up to 12 months, you don't need an additional provision. More than 12 months and up to 24 months, means 1 year to 2 years के बीच में, then 10%, 24 to 36 months, 40%, 36 to 48 months, 70%, and more than 48 months, you have to create 100% of net book value as your provision. So this is additional provision for the special type of assets, right? So now let's do a sum based on this. और ये basic sum है पहला वाला, जहाँ पर net book value already दी है आपको. In the next sum, first we will see how to calculate net book value, and then उसके बाद जो sum करेंगे वहाँ पर हम net book value भी calculate करेंगे और additional provision भी हम calculate करेंगे. So let's go to question number 7. Shri Finance Limited provides hire purchase facilities for purchase of consumer electronic goods. It provides the following information in respect of outstanding due for such hire purchase transactions as on 31st March 2020. So कौन से items बेचे हैं हमने, that has been given. Overdue period हमें दिया हुआ है. Interest कितना है उस overdue period पे वो दिया हुआ है. और what else has been given directly? Net asset value or net book value. That is the same thing, right? So television sets, you have two categories, up to 12 months, 12 to 24 months. Dishwashers, we have two categories, 12 to 24 and 24 to 36. And also more than 48, three categories hai dishwasher mein. And mobile handsets, we have two categories, up to 12 and 36 to 48. So एक तो हमें ये column use करना है. This interest column is of no use to us. So this has just been given to confuse us. And last column is the amount on which we have to calculate our provision. Okay. So we will see what is the overdue period. Accordingly, we will use the rate which we have already seen just now, and we will calculate that rate on which amount? On this amount. What are they asking us to calculate? Only the additional provision. Okay. So हमें पूरा provision नहीं calculate करना है, हमें सिर्फ additional provision ही calculate करना है. So let's do this sum. Let's solve it. So we have a format over here. I've made the format. Okay, we are calculating additional provision on hire purchase assets. पहले हम देखेंगे installment is overdue for how much months. तो यहाँ पर हम वो asset के नाम भी लिख देंगे, जो भी electronic items है वो. Then we'll see the net book value again, which is given to us in the sum, which I said net asset value या net book value is the same. Rate हम लिखेंगे from what we already saw in the table, and then we'll calculate our provision. So how are we going to show over here? Basically हम क्या करेंगे, हम इसे month wise categorize करेंगे और उसके अंदर हम assets के नाम भी लिखते जाएंगे. So first I'm going to start with up to 12 months. ये हमारी पहली category है from what we saw in the table for additional provision. Up to 12 months, 12 to 24, 24 to 36, 36 to 48 and more than 48. ये इतनी categories है हमारी. Now up to 12 months में कौन से asset है? So let us see in our question. So in our question first we have television sets. Okay, and what do I need for calculating my provision? I need the net book value or the net asset value जो कि हमें sum में दिया हुआ है in the last column. So let's see what is the asset value given. It is given as 4,000. Again these amounts are in lakhs, so I'll call it 4,000 lakhs, but I'll put a 0.00. Okay, so that is TV sets. और कौन से assets में up to 12 months है? Let us check the sum. Mobile handsets also we have up to 12 months. So mobile handsets amount कितना दिया हुआ है? 320 lakhs. Okay, let's check in the sum if there is any other asset with up to 12 months. No, there is none. Okay, so we'll just take a subtotal of this. यहाँ पर ही हम subtotal बता देते हैं and we'll underline it right here. So this will be 4,320. ताकि हम rate directly apply करें, and we know up to 12 months the rate is nil. You don't need an additional provision. Up to 12 months if the installment is overdue, you don't have to create a provision. So यहाँ पर provision भी nil आ जाएगा. Now let's go to our second category, and that is 12 to 24 months. Again let's check our sum. कौन से asset है जो कि इस category में है? So 12 to 24 months we also have TV sets or television sets. Let's check the amount. The amount is 60 lakhs. And और कौन से asset में ये category है? We have dishwashers. So let's write down dishwashers. And the amount given is 10 lakhs. Again, I'll take a subtotal 70. And now there will be a rate which will be applicable. So for 12 to 24 months, our rate is 10%. 10% of what? Of the net asset value or the net book value. So 70 into 10% will give us 7. So that is our provision for 12 to 24 months category. Now let's go to the third category. Third category is 24 to 36 months. Okay, let's see कौन से asset है इसमें. We have dishwashers and that is it. एक ही asset है जो कि इस category में है, dishwashers. Amount कितना है उसका? 17 lakhs, 17. Now, what is the rate for 24 to 36 months? The rate is 40% for 24 to 36 months. So, we'll take that rate and let's calculate 40% of 17, which is 6.80 lakhs. I'll just extend my line. Now let's write the next category, category 4, which will be 36 to 48 months. And there our rate is even higher, 70% provision है. और कौन से assets है? We have mobile handsets, जो कि इस category में है. What is the amount given for mobile handsets? 4 lakhs. So I'll write that down. And as I said, the rate is 70%. So 4 into 70% will give you 2.80. Okay. And now let's go to the fifth category, more than 48 months. कौन सा asset है more than 48 months में? We have dishwashers. And the amount given is 7 lakhs. And because now it is in the last category, our rate is 100%. So, pura 7 lakhs is my provision. Okay. So, let's take a total of our provisions. So, it starts with this, that is 7. So, let's add 7 plus 6.8 plus 2.8 plus 7 and that gives us 23.60, which is in lakhs again, 23.60 lakhs. So, this is the total additional provision which the NBFC will have to maintain. Okay. So, I hope you've understood this part. Now, we'll be later on, once we've understood what is net book value, we'll be doing a sum which will be based on calculating the net book value or asset value and then creating the provision. So, as you are seeing over here, this is how we are going to calculate net book value. अब दोनों assets के लिए the calculation is slightly different. So, if it is hire purchase assets, this is our formula. I'll just explain it to you in a while. And if it is lease assets, then this is the formula. So, पहले हम देखते हैं hire purchase assets. Now, hire purchase assets में we start with the overdue amount of installment. हमने क्या बात की? That installment जो है, वो हमें कुछ time के लिए नहीं मिला है, right? So, first I will take that what is that actual amount of installment which is overdue. कितना installment हमें मिलना चाहिए था जिसकी डेट निकल गई है and जो हमें अब तक नहीं मिला है. So first I take the overdue amount of installment and this should include your interest overdue. See, hire purchase assets की जब हम बात करते हैं तो जब हम इंस्टॉलमेंट लेते हैं या देते हैं, वॉट एवर वे यू आर टॉकिंग, आई एम टॉकिंग फ्रॉम एनबीएफसी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, सो आई एम सेइंग जब हम इंस्टॉलमेंट लेते हैं, एनबीएफसी विल रिसीव द इंस्टॉलमेंट. सो इन दैट केस what will happen is that installment is made up of two parts. One part is your actual principal amount, जो कि actual value है उस asset का, and the second part is the interest amount. इन दोनों को मिलाकर installment बनता है. So here I have clearly specified, even though the word installment actually includes the interest, but just to make it very clear, I have specified that this should include your overdue interest also. So पूरा installment कितना overdue है, that you are going to calculate. To that, what will you add? Installments not yet due means, see, whenever a person is recording a hire purchase transaction, तो उसने asset बेचा है. Let me just show you with an example over here. Okay, so I've just made an example for you over here. This is something similar. हमने एक पहले sum किया था जहाँ पर हमने ये hire purchase installments का calculation किया था. So this is something very similar to that. Now basically what we have to see over here, हमने दो चीजें देखी हमारे net book value के calculation में. One was overdue amount of installment including interest, and second was installment not yet due, and that was excluding interest. Okay, now let us take an example that we are say in December 2019. Okay, तो December 2019 से पहले ये तीन amounts पे होने चाहिए थे. If I am talking about this particular asset, hire purchase asset, so suppose it is paid, down payment हो गया, 30th June 2018 वाला installment भी pay हो गया है, but 30th June 2019 वाला installment due नहीं हुआ है. Sorry, due हुआ है but pay नहीं हुआ है. Okay, so first was what? Overdue amount of installment including interest. Now what does that mean? This amount. ये हमारा installment का total है. Okay, so this has become overdue. ये मुझे कब मिल जाना चाहिए था? 30th June 2019. I said I am in 31st December 2019, but I have still not received this particular installment. So ये हो गया मेरा overdue amount of installment including interest. Why including interest? ये interest है, ये principal है, total installment overdue है. So 10 rupees is that first part. That is 10 lakhs basically, not 10 rupees, 10 lakhs because all these amounts are in lakhs. Now, when I talk about installments not yet due, that means ये तीन installment जो अभी तक due ही नहीं हुए हैं, because I am still in 31st December, that is December 2019, ये तीन installment तो उसके बाद due होंगे. So this one installment is overdue. These three installments are not yet due. अभी तक उनकी date आई नहीं है, right? So वहाँ पर हम amount excluding interest लेंगे. So if I have to calculate here, I will take this amount that is without the interest. So actual जो principal amount है वो तीनों का total करेंगे. So I'll add 10 plus these three amounts. Okay. So say 10 plus let's take the total itself so that we are clear. 7.43, 8.2 and 9.05 and plus 10. So the total becomes 34.68. Okay. Now let's go back and see what our table is saying further. So यहाँ तक हमने समझ लिया that हम क्या include करेंगे to calculate our net book value. Now we have to subtract something. So let's go and check that. So minus हमें क्या करना है? हमें minus करना है depreciated value of asset. So because this asset is not completely sold, it might still be shown in my books as an asset और उसकी हमें depreciated value, that means depreciation minus करने के बाद उस दिन पर, जिस दिन हम ये calculation कर रहे हैं, उस दिन पर उस asset की कितनी value है after subtracting the depreciation for whatever number of years. वो हम माइनस करेंगे एंड दैट इज व्हाट विल गिव अस आवर नेट बुक वैल्यू फॉर हायर परचेज एसेट्स. ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू लीज एसेट्स. लीज एसेट्स में हम क्या करेंगे? वी विल टेक द ओवरड्यू अमाउंट ऑफ लीज रेंटल. अब यहाँ पर क्या मिलता है हमें? वी गेट रेंट. ओके, सो यहाँ पर we will take overdue amount of lease rentals, but only the capital portion. Again, this will not include our interest. Okay, so capital portion of the overdue amount of lease rentals plus यहाँ पर हम add करेंगे the depreciated value of asset. You have to be very careful. हम यहाँ पर minus कर रहे हैं depreciated value of asset, जबकि यहाँ पर हम इन दोनों चीजों को add ही कर रहे हैं. There is no subtraction, and that is what will give us the net book value or the net asset value for lease assets. So this is how you calculate your net book value when this various information is given to you. So I hope you've understood this, and I hope in the next session when I take up the sum, we are able to do this together, that is calculation of our net book value, और उसके बाद हम प्रोविजनिंग भी कैलकुलेट करेंगे. दैट इज द एडिशनल प्रोविजन दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड, जो हमने इससे पहले के सम में देखा है. सो आई वाइंड अप दिस सेशन ओवर हियर. प्लीज डोंट फॉरगेट टू कंटिन्यूअसली गो थ्रू ऑल द डिफरेंट रेट्स, द डिफरेंट मंथ्स, ओवरड्यू कितने मंथ्स के बाद हो रहा है तो कौन सा एसेट बन रहा है, या जो ये एडिशनल प्रोविजन में हमने देखा जो 5 कैटेगरीज है अप टू 12 मंथ्स, 12 to 24, 24 to 36, 36 to 48 and more than 48. उसके लिए क्या क्या अलग rates है for the provision. All this you have to remember because it is very very important. All this will not be directly given to you in the paper, in the question. You will have to analyze the sum, find out what information is given, what has to be calculated, and accordingly do your calculation. So please keep on revising whatever we have done up to now. In the next session, we'll be doing the sum. So next session when we meet, I'll directly start with net book value. We'll quickly revise once and then we'll go to the sum. So thank you. I wind up the session over here.